Hey everyone, this is Phil from Horween Leather. I've been working at the Horween Leather tannery now for a little over 14 years, and I've given many tours. And one thing that is always surprising to people is that all the football leather for every NFL football is made right in Chicago. And I think people are often surprised by what it's made of. So let me tell you a little story about some NFL football. Horween Leather Tannery, located on the north side of Chicago, is now a fifth generation leather tannery. It's been running consistently since 1905. And the second generation, his name was Arnold Horween. He actually was a football player at Harvard, and he was a football player for the Chicago Cardinals, I believe they were back then, which later became the Chicago Bears. But then he was a football coach at Harvard and also had the leather tannery. The tannery has been making this special leather since the 1950s, and every ball originates at the tannery here in Chicago. So it's a really cool story, and I think there are a lot of details in this leather that many people don't know about, and I think most people think that each ball is actually made of pigskin, which is inaccurate. Each football is made out of steer hide leather. It's not cowhide. It's specifically a steer. The cow hides are a little bit different than the steers, and I guess it's kind of nitpicking to even make the distinction. And they have this really unique texture in them. If you ever want to find out if your ball is a real NFL ball, look really closely at the leather and you will see little W's hidden into the pebbles. So on this GST, this is a college ball. I actually use this one just to play with in the yard and stuff. It's pretty beat up. You'll actually notice first that the college balls are a little bit different color, and it depends on the school. Each division or each school has a different color ball. If you look really closely at these, and I'll put in a photo, you can see little W's hidden in the texture. So that's how you will know if it's a real football. You can also find synthetic balls, which are a little less nice in my opinion, completely biased. But those are the two main colors. There's also a color from Nike that's a little bit more brown as opposed to red than this one is. Football leather is incredibly unique. It has a really sticky texture to it. You can kind of hear it. And there are many secrets behind how we achieve the stickiness that I cannot talk about and I won't talk about. But the tannery here in Chicago, Horween, has been able to produce this leather consistently since the 1950s, and Wilson, who makes all the balls, has used that same leather in every NFL ball since then. But the unique features are that texture of the pebble and also the stickiness of the tack that we tan inside of the leather. The texture is actually applied through a very intense amount of pressure in a hydraulic press that we have. This press is absolutely insane. It's about 2 floors or 2 stories high, and I can't give the details on how much pressure, but it delivers an immense amount of pressure with a metal plate that has the inverse of this texture. So when it presses and dwells on the leather with a little bit of heat, you end up with this amazing football texture. Each football is sprayed to color for each customer. So like I said, the college balls, some of them are more orange, and all the pro balls are this sort of reddish brown shade. We carefully grade each side before we send it to Wilson. Each football is made in a small town in Ohio from this amazing leather, and that town is called Ada, Ohio. I was actually just watching some YouTube videos of the factory there. It's very reminiscent to how Horween is. Most people that work at the Wilson factory have worked there for many decades, up to 46 years, I believe. I saw one woman working there. And at the tannery here in Chicago, we just had a couple members retire after working there for 50 years. So it's very much a tradition in the leather, and it's also a tradition in how they make the footballs. I would highly encourage you to check out some of these videos on YouTube of the Wilson factory and them making these balls. There are several very challenging looking procedures that they do. The one that looks the hardest is turning the ball from inside out to right side out, and it looks like it takes an incredible amount of force. You very rarely find the leather used in footballs in any other product. I bought this boot for my brother about 4 or 5 years ago. This was a special make for genuine Horween products by a bootmaker in Canada called Canada West, made out of that same football leather. So I just thought it was really cool with the same white lacing, and he's worn the heck out of them, so they're looking really cool and beat up. And every year at Ashland, we release little football bottle openers. We'll do it at the beginning of the season. We'll also release them during the Super Bowl. So this year, we've got the standard short handle, which opens a beer quite well. But we also have this new longer one with a nice little loop on the back. And this loop is great for hanging up in your kitchen or hanging up outside on your patio. And what's really fun is if you're watching the game, it kind of feels like a ball. So it feels like you're hanging out and you're in your backyard just playing football with your friends or with your family. So I really like being able to touch the football while I watch a football game. If you have any other questions about the football leather footballs or these football bottle openers or maybe these football boots, please send your questions to the comments and I'll respond directly there. Thank you so much for checking this out. I think football is a really cool American tradition, and it's awesome that it's remaining in America with the Horween Leather for the last almost 65 years. So thanks again for checking it out. Take care. Bye.